right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I mean, it's the last one, so the presentation is in Spanish. I'm French, and I will do it in English. Hopefully, there's not too much brain damage for you guys. So we'll discuss about the textile industry and the chain that we discussed before, which is black, very not sustainable, and very fragmented. And we'll see the solution that we can bring, okay? So we'll start with a quiz. What do you think is the percentage of clothing that you buy that is made from recycling material? 15%? 1%? 5%? 3%. So it means that 97% of what we are buying is made from natural resources. Okay, so it's cotton, 40%, and petrol, 50%. Okay, and the second figures that I want you to understand is, yeah, at the end of the life cycle of your clothing, how much of the clothing is going back into the circle? 15% again? 1%. So there are 10% that they are being reused, 2% that are being repaired, but at the end, I mean, 1% is going back to the chain. Okay, and that's the problem of this chain, which is very linear and not very sustainable, as you can see. So we are extracting 97% of natural resources. During all the process that we saw, which is going back to China, Vietnam, going back, etc., we are contaminating with more than 20% of the world pollution. We don't use the garments. We usually use it 1-2 times in average for the fashion, and then we throw it. And then at the end of the chain, we put everything back to Chile in desert and stuff like this. So it's very unsustainable. So if we go back to the extraction, which is the first one, so in sport, 80% of your clothing is polyester. So it's petrol, okay? We consume more and more, so obviously we extract more and more, and then we pollute more and more. So obviously we need to reduce our consumption. But the good stuff, I mean, whether there is any good news is that, I mean, there's no more petrol in the next 20 years. So we need to find much more innovative solution to bring back the garments into the equation, okay? And secondly, I mean, we have been generating plastic for 1 or 2 generations, so we need to come back and recollect this plastic and going back into the circle. It seems easy, okay? In the second step, the production, as we saw before, I mean, it's going, it's a very long chain, and it goes from Europe to China to Vietnam, coming back. So there is a lot of issue into the chain, and we always talk about the CO2 emission, but there are much more than this. I mean, in the 7 or 6 limitation of the planets, there are the microplastic, there are the biosphere reduction, there are the consumption of water, which is going down drastically. So the industry of textile is impacting everything, okay? And we need to find solutions. So the good news is that, I mean, the technologies exist. So we don't talk about new technologies such as blockchain, etc. We're talking about existing technologies that can be used already, okay? The bad news is that, no, we're still continuing to produce it badly, rapidly, and very far away. So there are some stuff we need to change drastically into the systemic picture. Up. Then into the usage of the garments, we saw it before. I mean, we passed from 4 collections per year to 52. Before we had a garment for 20, 30 years. Now it's maximum 1-2 years. So we did create a kind of a consumption monster to compensate the increase of the production itself. We have too much collection, too much colors. The quality is too bad. So we need to change and to come back to the atemporal collection and to more durability. Again, solutions are there. We just need to implement them, okay? And then at the end of the chain, I mean, yes, 1% of the garments that is coming back. It's mainly because the brands cannot work it out correctly anymore. So if you take a look at your composition of your clothes, most probably there are several materials into your clothes, okay? which is impossible to recycle. So we need to come back to what we were doing 50 years ago, our grandparents were doing, which is doing mono-material collections. And we can do this. We can solve the elasticity, the touch, etc., by applying technical, mechanical processes. It's feasible, but we need obviously to do it. It's more expensive again, and it's basically the key of the issue. Okay. Again, yes, multi-material. I mean, most of you, if you take a look at your clothing, you will see that there are several materials. Okay. So what we did in our case was try to, to apply a kind of circularity canvas around this. And we try to systemize a vertical solution by sport, okay? So for tennis, example, we have our containers into the clubs, the tournaments, the shops, even at some brands in tennis, where we recollect the used strings. So you saw the 4 players before, they are probably wasting 5-6 racket strings every game. So those material, which is polyester, we recollect, we transform back into what we call a pellet, which is some plastic balls. We go back into a yarn, and we go back into a garment. And this garment, because it is eco-conceived, is going back into the same circle again, okay? And thanks to the ecosystem, the collaboration we have with the ecosystem, the containers where we took, firstly, the racket strings can take as well the garments at the end of the chain. So the players don't have to send it back. They go to play tennis, and they drop it at the end into the same container. So our mission is based on circularity, obviously. We have the chance in Spain to have a full chain of textile, so which is not pretty obvious in Europe. In Spain, we have pretty much everything from the material, the spinning, the recycling, spinning, fabric, and confection, which is very good. And what we saw in the previous panel, the fact is that for the small brands, it's very difficult to go outside because most of the chain is in Asia, and it's very difficult to force the decision when we are 20,000 kilometers far away. If you have the supply chain locally, you can force the decision, okay? And then the community, very important to verticalize the solution. So it's very important that those tennis strings are going into tennis garments, because we were asked whether it was going into running. Yes, it can go into running, but then the customer is not focalized in the sense that it's their waste that is combining back into their garments, okay? As we said before, thanks to Become, we have the ability to promote it and to communicate what we are doing. Again, what we said is that we will never be a net zero, fair enough, but we can manage to reduce drastically the pollution, the water consumption, which is important compared to a conventional clothes. Our collection, it was pretty dark. In the first one, it was a mechanical recycling, so mixing together a lot of racket strings with different colors was gray. We did put some black colors into the yarn, so not into dyeing bath afterwards, into the yarn, so it's saving 70% of water. And now in the second collection, we'll go for a little bit more colorful and technical style. Okay. People are always asking me whether, there is a market for this. There is a market, yes, clearly. We did put country as Catalonia, but it's ready for for some of the people in the room. So there are 25 million people playing tennis and paddle in Europe. So it's quite a consequent market. If everybody was switching to a more sustainable clothing, there is a potential there. And in terms of material, which is what we are being asked, is it enough? Do we have enough material? Yes, there is enough material in tennis. We'll see later that we can do the same for outdoor and sea. But basically, we can get to a reasonable 2-3 million garments made of those plastic waste, if we manage to recollect everything. And the beauty of this is that we can scale it to more applications. We are collecting tennis ball that we will shred and put into the sole so that we create a full recycle shoes, upper shoes into racket strings, sole into a racquetball. We can recollect, obviously, the tennis cans, which is basically something that we could direct to paddle players. We know that paddle players are wasting an astronomical number of balls because they like the rebounds and they don't like to have old balls. We have already started as well to start the outdoor collection. So we will recollect climbing ropes, which is another material, which is nylon 6, and we will recycle them into specific outdoor collections. And we know that outdoor people are probably a little bit more greener than tennis. And we can do the same with sea. And with this, obviously, we managed to comply with 6 or 7 of the SDG goals that we need to complete for I mean, saving the planet, basically. That's all on my side, I would say. Yes. So play for the planet. Questions?
Yep. From going to black to that colors, did you have to make some kind of commitment, or is there other commitments you had to make to go away from that really pure thing of going from tennis to tennis?
No, it's the same concept, but the black one was a mechanical recycling, so it's much more sustainable. We went to a chemical recycling, so it's a little bit less effective in terms of sustainability, but still same process. So it's we get rid of the colors of the strings, get back into a white pellet, and then it goes into a white yarn, and then you can dye it, basically. But it's, let's say, a little bit less sustainable. The problem is that the customers don't understand black is beautiful, obviously, but having a full collection of black in the shops, not working. Yes.
What is the cost of doing things right? Because I think it's very important that if this is possible, because it was amazing and super inspiring, why aren't the other people doing it this way? And how can you inspire people that might be also the...
I mean, inspiring, I don't know whether we will inspire people, but we are working with tennis brands to do a co-branded collection. So they see that there is a story there behind this. The issue is that the brands don't have any more capacity, expertise to understand how it is working. They really concentrate on the last piece of the equation, which is fabric garments. They don't know about the material, they don't know about the rest. They have, with us, Europe, externalizing everything to China, we lost everything in Europe, so that's one. In terms of cost, 4 times more expensive than sending to China. So that's an issue, yes. But the idea is that the story and the way we present it would absorb these additional costs. Obviously, we won't do as much marketing as Nike, but we have, yeah, it's 4 times more expensive. So it's difficult probably for a customer to pay the difference. For the timing, we are putting our T-shirt at what, €50, which is the price of Nike and Adidas, huh? But obviously 2 or 3 times more expensive than a Decathlon, for instance. So we need to make sure that the customers understand. The customers, as we saw before, they are lost. They don't know exactly what the clothing is made of. We need to do a lot of communication on this, ourselves and obviously the EU and the different countries. Done for the day. Okay. That's been a long day.
Thank you very much, Francois. That was great.